in the first half. But Vancouver Whitecaps, the two-time defending champions, right the wrongs of 2019. They lose the match, but win the tie. They are the second club to qualify for the TELUS Canadian Championship quarterfinals as they hang on. What an exciting and dramatic match we had for you tonight in Vancouver. For John Conway and our entire crew, I've been Adam Jenkins. Full time at BC Place. It's Vancouver 0, Cavalry 1.
The look of disappointment on the faces of Cavalry FC coming up short in this one despite the victory, and the look of relief for the Vancouver Whitecaps because that 2-1 win in leg one really helped them here in leg two. They are moving on to the semifinals as we welcome you back inside our One Soccer studio. Andy Petrillo, Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson. How do you digest it? And we know we've seen this so many times when it's a home and away where you do end up winning that second one, but you needed the 2 goals.
The Whitecaps just, and I mean just, do enough. That wasn't a very good performance by the Whitecaps tonight. I thought they actually gained control in the last 10-15 minutes, just putting their foot on the ball, understanding that it was Cavalry that needed to score, but they rode their luck at times. I think that with Inter Miami coming into BC Place on the weekend, Vanni Sartini would have loved to have waited to bring in White and Gauld a little bit later on. Those two were difference makers when they came on. They ooze quality. But this man's side beat an MLS side yet again here tonight, 1-0. But I think he'll be thinking, how close were we? His team, these players, an inspired effort here tonight. Jesse Daly came oh so close. If it landed on the foot of a more accomplished goal scorer, that could have been 2-0 Cavalry and some very nervous moments coming down the stretch of the Whitecaps. They left it all out there against a bigger club that spends more money, that should be one of the favorites in the Western Conference in Major League Soccer. Again, they can leave with their head held high, but I mean, for Tommy Wheeldon Jr. and company, it's not about moral victories right now, right? Like, it's about going out and winning games like this. They will be desperately disappointed that they didn't come away, with advancing from this fixture despite winning this game tonight.
I always thought Cavalry had more than enough ability to go out and win this match and go and compete. But there was belief within the squad tonight. Like, they put it all on the table. And this is what you want. In the first leg, it seemed a bit dormant, that's the word I'm gonna use, but tonight there was no complacency. There was no fear. Everyone was locked in. I am sure Charlie Trafford clocked about 12K tonight. Klomp had no position, he was a libero. What's the position you used to play, Wheels, that you told
Rover.
me? Rover, had no clue what that was. But for those between 35 and 50 know about the Rover. That's where he was. Look, this team impressed me tonight. It's a shame they're not going through, but they were exceptional.
Libero, you're talking volleyball
All
over
of it.
there. Let's bring in Daan Klomp now, our Gatorade performer of the match. I mean, Dan, you had a great game yourself. Your team obviously picks up the victory. We know how these things go in a home and away, and because of Vancouver winning that first one and scoring 2 goals there, just maybe take us to, through how you're feeling at the moment.
Oh, I'm knackered. There was yeah, we had to run a lot today. We knew we had to give it our all on the big pitch, and yeah, to be fair, I think we were all very proud of this performance. I think we could have won it as well with a 2-0 victory of Jesse Daly in the end. Just unfortunate not to get it, but yeah, I guess we're all very proud of each other.
Dan, you were an absolute beast out there tonight. Well done. What did Tommy say to you guys just there on the field post-match? Because I mean, you won the game, but you kind of lose the war here. You're not moving on. Is there moral victories at this point, or can you leave with your head held high tonight and say we did what we could?
No, he said we did what we could. He was yeah, very proud of the team, of the performance, and he said this is going to kickstart our season, because we know we haven't been good enough in the regular season, and yeah, this is something to build off of.
Dan, amazing match. Best game I've ever seen you play. You play top matches all the time, but this one for me, I don't know what you ate before this match, but you were all over the place. Teased you last year with Wheels about the John Stones role and how you play in the middle. This is John Stones, Patrick Vieira. There's a bit of Zinedine Zidane sometimes. You were popping all over the place. What did you eat today, brother? You're exceptional, man. What happened?
No, just a regular pasta. Maybe, I think it's the Vancouver pasta that did it for me, because hotel we stay at had some good food, so it's very good.
Top notch, man.
Well, I mean, congratulations on the win, but, you know, obviously disappointing that you don't get to move on in the Canadian Championship. But as you said, that's your second win as a team so far this season in all competitions, so we look forward to see how that can translate over to CPL action. Dan, appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Well, you heard it there. Tommy Wheeldon Jr. obviously after the game saying that exact same thing to the guys. They have one win through 6 matches in CPL, so they pick up this win here in the Canadian Championship. If you're going to use this as motivation, it's like, listen, we were able to do this. We were able to beat an MLS side. Remember this and kind of bring this on over now to CPL.
They've done it before. They beat the Whitecaps in 2019. They took them to penalties 2 years ago in the Canadian Championship, and they lose this tie by virtue of 2 long balls played, 2 Levante Johnson strikes, one straight out of the heavens. He hit it so well. And the other one, just a touch of bad luck for Cavalry. I think they're going to be desperately disappointed watching this back, seeing the effort that they put out there tonight. Like, no doubt, we rate the Whitecaps. Like, this is a very good team that's not in great form right now. I think they're missing Krylak, they're missing Pico, they're certainly missing Sam Adekubi. I mean, they're just a much different team without him playing, but they had him tonight. They were that close, Andy.
How impressed are you once again with Daan Klomp just putting together a strong game, but obviously a player who can really help Cavalry, and given what he was able to do even last season and carrying that over?
I mean, there's a difference, right? When you see him tackling, we'll show you here, but you see him tackling big-name players for Vancouver Whitecaps and stepping up. It's the leadership, but it's also just the quality that he keeps showing, right? He's improving game in and game out, and he's growing to his own. Now the 3rd season here at Cavalry. Look at this clip, right? Like when he's played, crunch. Like, this is gold. This is one of the best players in the MLS, and he's there tackling and making sure that, look again, knows when to step up. Raposo, just asserting himself in the game. Like, he's been dominant this whole match, and he deserves all that credit.
I want to give Montgomery some credit, too, because when Klomp goes up like that, it's Montgomery spinning back and coming in to support him. But Klomp left it all on the field tonight. Said he's knackered. And with good reason. They actually made the change late and put him in the midfield. Hopefully he could knock on some balls. But that's where the Whitecaps just settled things down and kept it.
Yeah.
And you could see just how tired Cavalry were. And when they got in possession, they were a little bit frazzled. They were a little bit out of sorts at that point. So full credit to the Whitecaps for finishing out that game. Bomer with a big save on Jesse Daly, that close.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the Vancouver Whitecaps who have won here. They've moved on to the semifinal. Their mission for the three-peat is still very alive, looking to join TFC as the only teams to win 3 in the Canadian Championship. Yes, they didn't have to go out and score a goal, and perhaps maybe they didn't look the best, but how much credit do you give this side in playing the game? They understood what they needed to do, which was possession, to the point where they just completely frustrated Cavalry at the end.
Yes, but I don't think Vinny Sartini will be happy. I mean, he said in the pre-match show, didn't play well against LAFC on the weekend, so late penalty, late goal in a 1-1 draw with Seattle Sounders. Like, they're on a run of form right now. In their last 7 games since they beat Toronto FC in MLS play, they've won 1 of them. I mean, the standards have raised for this Whitecaps team. You quite frankly expect more. And some of the role players tonight for me, Jordan, like, they didn't step up. Vite and Berhalter, when they were on, they just didn't control the game in central midfield. The back 3 were okay. The left back, Martins, just didn't do much for me. You're playing young players in attack, and they didn't really get into the game until obviously Ryan Gauld and Brian White came into the game and switched things up. So I think it's frustrating. Some of these role players need to step up if this Whitecaps team are going to reach their goals this season. I
think the manager that would be happier is the manager of the team who took control of the game. Cavalry, for a lot of this match, were the aggressors, were the pressers, were the ones to get in the face. Yes, that final product maybe didn't happen for that second goal, but in terms of energy all across the pitch, I thought they were there tonight. Vancouver Whitecaps, I think their quality is so high, but we didn't see it at all tonight, or at the highest rate. But look at the Cavalry, locked in here. Big Montgomery. We're praising Klomp, but Montgomery had everything to do with that back line as well and leading them going forward. And this is unorthodox. Look at Klomp. This is your center back blocking a shot. Right there, all over the pitch, defending as one. And this is the type of stuff that they need to build off going into the CPL season.
There's that one chance that I'm not sure if we'll see it in this pack. Oh, it's right here. Ryan Gall Ali Ahmed plays it across. Look at that block by Klomp again on Bonavina. Then there was a header by Martins when Ryan Gall played that ball to the far post. He just kind of knocked that down, but
that was a big
didn't
chance.
really challenge Marco Carducci as well. So it got way better for the Caps in the second half, but still, Cavalry hung around. They just needed that one chance, and they had it. And just if it was any other player than Jesse Daly, then that ball might be in the back of the net.
They wanted to also come in here, keep the clean sheet, get those 2 goals, and possibly move on here. Obviously, that's the goal of Cavalry. They didn't want a 2-1. That would have been tied on aggregate. Then we would have gone to pens. Marco Carducci was doing his part and coming up with some pretty big saves.
He was, man. It's nice to see someone, a day one CPLer, just come into his own, right? These are big saves, specifically this one, the first half one, because this is a reaction save, Andy Petrillo. Like, look how closely, he doesn't even see it, but pushes that wide.
That's tight.
Great save. He stepped up in big moments tonight.
Ali Ahmed, he played all over the park. I'm not sure what his preferred position was tonight. Decent save there. He left it in a good spot as well, with Fraser tucking in and just kind of dispelling Brian White. Like, Carducci has been reliable as they come in the Canadian Premier League. Tonight is one of the best I've seen him play in a couple years now.
Seemed
It
composed.
was that good tonight. I mean, he played 2 games in the Canadian Championship for the Whitecaps. This is the chance. I think Martin just needs to do better.
Yeah.
Needs to challenge. Like, it's maybe a little bit high, but knock that down. That was too easy for Carducci in the end.
Carducci seemed composed. And you love to see that from your keeper. You heard him, but even his mannerism seemed composed when he was dealing with those situations.
That would have been the fairy tale as well. He's making these big saves near the end. The goal would have been for Cavalry to maintain possession, possibly try to force that corner, and then you see that goalkeeper come bombing up the pitch, and we've seen it before. It's rare that it happens, but it's glorious when they can get their head on the ball and get the goal that's needed. Because, again, 2 goals is what Cavalry needed here tonight. Let's take a look at the first one. This is where we really started, and you actually said it at halftime, Wheels. This is a team that really started to believe.
Yeah. There was the first chance in the 30th minute that William McKeough just kind of hesitated. Veselinovic stepped through the first of 3 mistakes here. Then Akio, 1-on-2. Laborda needs to step and close that down, and Veselinovic doesn't react again, and the ball's put in the back of the net. This ball went in the 32nd minute. The last 10-15 minutes of the first half, like, Cavalry were just feeling it.
They're feeling it.
It just got them into their groove.
And what I like about Cavalry coming into the second half, they didn't really slow down. They kept up the pace. And that's what made the second half so lively, is that there was belief in the squad, and it just permeated. They were going for it. They just missed that last bit in the final third.
This is why I thought your comments were spot on after the first leg. I think that Cavalry played a little bit safe.
A little bit too safe.
I think if they played it more like they played tonight in that first leg, we might have been in a very different situation where, this tie was in control by the Whitecaps, and that inevitably saw them over the finish line.
Yeah, and Cavalry gave it their all right until the very end. I mean, Montgomery just splayed out on the floor. We already said it, Daan Klomp talked about being completely knackered. They pushed to the very end, and we thought, here we go. They're actually going to get it.
Look at this. That's a great turn by Daly, and he just can't pick out a corner. This was, by the way, coming off like 2.5 minutes of Vancouver Whitecaps possession.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Cavalry had a nice little bit of possession. They sped it up coming down the right-hand side of the field. It's a great turn by Jesse Daly, just not an accomplished goal scorer. He ran his socks. Daly ran his socks off tonight as well. If he could just put that into the corner, give it a little bit too tight on the goalkeeper, but what a chance there in the end.
That's one he'll think about for a while.
Yeah, Bomer, though, again, I'm always going to give love to the goalkeeper. You have to give credit, that save. He really, I mean, how many times have we seen, especially when a ball's hit with that kind of velocity, too, just go under a goalkeeper. We've seen it. But he managed to get his body down and deflect it in a way where he was able to pounce on the rebound as well and just shut the door on Cavalry. So now we know 3 times they've met in the Canadian Championship, 2019. Cavalry made history, becoming the first CPL side to beat an MLS side. Whitecaps returned the favor in 2022, and they have now broken the tie. They are the winners of this one so far, the best of three. They have taken the victory once again in 2024, moving on to the semifinals. Fans in attendance, though, it appears, for Cavalry. Nice little traveling fan base. When we return, we will hear from Tommy Wheeldon Jr. Cavalry 1-0 victory here tonight, but they lose out on aggregate.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada, because this journey belongs to everyone.
Do we really have any choice at all?
Everyone has a choice, and every choice has a consequence.
Which do you choose?
Life's full of tough choices, isn't it?
How do you choose?
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer.
Here are your full-time stats tonight. Vancouver Whitecaps, no goal scored here, but that's okay because in leg one they got the job done with the 2-1 win. Shots on target, though, Vancouver did test Marco Carducci. Cavalry needed the 2 goals, only managed to get 1 here tonight as they bow out of the TELUS Canadian Championship. Here's their head coach, Tommy Wheeldon Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are playing against a different type of MLS side in Whitecaps than we've played before. I think they're very well organised, very tough to break down. We had some terrific moments. I think right now what I'm feeling is proud. Probably the disappointment will come through when I watch the game again, that how close it could have been. We just needed one more goal. One more goal, and I think the reality is we've been separated by the worldie from Johnson in the first leg. And to do that over 2 legs against a very good side is shows the capability of the club we've got.
Second half, it kind of felt, and it might be the credit to the Whitecaps for not letting you guys do what you wanted, but you didn't just seem to have that attacking impetus to find that second goal until maybe late on when you made a couple of the subs.
Yeah, we did, and Jesse Daly's there. Like I said, that's a credit to the team we're playing against. We're playing in their backyard. To almost meet them 50-50 in possession shows that we had confidence and bravery to play. And I think it just came down to that final act. I mean, Bowman's made a hell of a save near the end, and that was it. And the lads literally gave everything I could have asked for them. Pressed brilliantly, tried to play through, tried to have combinations, defended like when they had breakaways. So, yeah. We've got 20 million reasons why they're better than us. We've done very well.
Tommy, I mean, you guys have always mentioned, in preseason, throughout the years, DNA. How important was it to see that DNA just in the way you guys battled, the way you guys were playing, kind of all of it today?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we learnt from the first game in the CONCACAF Champions Cup was can't let the first leg get away from you, and it did. They scored too easy. We played probably too freely, but we weren't, battle hardened by then. I think what we're doing now is we wanted to be in the tie we were. And like I said, it was a worldie of a goal that will probably be goal of the competition, really. That's the reason Whitecaps are going through to the next round. But to play against a side like that, the two-time champions, and beat them in their backyard, which is the second time for our club, that's remarkable.
You mentioned it with the Orlando game, or the Orlando tie. For you as a coach, are you going to use that as kind of almost a measuring stick of, look, how far have we come already this year and what's next for you guys as a group?
Absolutely, and I think we've been working on different processes because it's not lost on us that we want to be better in cup competitions. If we want to play in the Champions Cup, if we want to play and advance in the Can Champ and have these type of environments, we've got to find a different formula than just the regular season. The regular season is a marathon, and we're pretty good at that. I'd love for this club to win a playoff or the Canadian Championship. So we've been working on some different things, and with that, you get a little stuff to step here and there. But we've got some new blood, and you've seen today with your Leighton Brookses and players like that, and Toby Washewski, that give us a different element. I just want the lads now to recognise the accomplishment they've made, but also now let's kick on into the regular season.
Tommy, that was arguably one of your best performances of the season all around in all competitions. What is it about these cup competitions that are bringing the best out of your side to be able to perform to that level? Is it just the prospect of facing an MLS side, or what else could it be about it? Yeah,
good question. I think we're really focusing on how can we be different in the knockout type of games. It's something, we've got to 2 finals in the North Shield, and we haven't won one. So we said, look, how can we improve? We've won the league regular season twice. We want to be good in this, and in doing so, we've got to have different pressing structures. We've got to have different game breakers in terms of the way you want to attack. And I think what we saw with Whitecaps is we knew it was going to be a Herculean effort to try and beat them. And we did, but we just didn't score that second goal, which was would have been remarkable, I think.
And off the back of such a great performance, how are you hoping for this to inspire your team to get back into the regular season, pick up those points so you can rise back up the table? Yeah, and I think, like I said, I'm less concerned about the table because I know we're probably one of, if the most consistent side in the league. I know results will come. I've got to keep trusting the process with the guys because, like I said, I want to have a few surprise packages. When you play, everyone 4 times, you can't be rolling out the same thing and the same guys because they start to read you. And I think what we did a couple of times even here with Whitecaps was play them a bit different than we did in the first leg. And we're going to continue to do that. I think the boys there, satisfied with the performance, but not the end result. And that's, a sign of a really good team.
All right, so it will be the Vancouver Whitecaps moving on, and we will have the semifinal draw halftime of Pacific versus Atletico Ottawa May 29th. That'll be the final quarterfinal match to be played next week, May 29th. The teams get reseeded after these quarterfinals. So we know that earlier tonight, Toronto FC defeating CS St. Laurent, and now Vancouver Whitecaps. So these two teams are going to wait till next week to find out who they will face. We have a couple more, by the way, quarterfinal matches. Montreal Forge tomorrow, and then, of course, that Pacific and Atletico Ottawa one. So 1-0, Cavalry, they are victorious here tonight, but now all their focus will shift to the CPL. The Whitecaps can continue their quest for a three-peat of the Voyageurs Cup.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
I do this for my town, my time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
To play. It's something that's in us from the very beginning, and something we take with us on every step of the journey. When we have no words, it gives us a way to speak. When we are still finding our way in the world, it gives us somewhere to belong. And no matter who we are or where we come from, it gives us the right to dream.
Christine Sinclair, as she scores at her 5th World Cup. Alfonso Davies!
It's time to celebrate the game we love. It's time to play.
We're back at it tomorrow.
Yes.
CF Montreal, Forge FC. It's been a marathon tonight, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. Jordan, are you okay?
I think so.
You have been slowly going sideways, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa here tonight.
Sometimes if you can't play those long diagonal balls, just a nice 5-yard passes. Right? just keep it ticking.
If you missed our pregame show to this game here, poor Jordan had to leave the studio, but he toughed it out this night. Cavalry toughed it out. Tomorrow with CF Montreal and Forge. If you're Forge, are you looking at this match going, I think we have a chance?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely. And CF Montreal's in a much worse spot than Vancouver Whitecaps are. Like, Cavalry got knocked out of this competition by the two-time back-to-back champions, Whitecaps, because of the away goals rule. This was something that was dumped by UEFA. And if the away goals rule was in place this time around, then we would have a much different Champions League final in UEFA. So I think it kind of leaned into a much more safe first leg played by Cavalry. And then it's enough for the Whitecaps to move on. That and $20 million more in their budget. So,
sure. I personally like it. We know MLS kind of did that as well, too, in their playoffs when it came to the away goals.
Get rid of it.
And it just started fresh.
Yeah.
Somebody argued with me on that one, but I personally liked it. Yeah, you did.
Where? On OST?
Yeah.
What did I say?
That's where we do most of our arguing. You said you like the away goals.
I do. I kind of like how, but when I'm thinking about my about my Cavalry team today, I'm just like needed 2 goals when.
See if Montreal got that away goal.
See?
So we'll see.
Yeah.
So close.
It was very close. Either way, we were highly entertained here tonight with our double header. And after a quick sleep, we're going to see you right back here tomorrow, Canada, for some more TELUS Canadian Championship on One Soccer.
To play. It's something that's in us from the very beginning.